text, text, text. Let's talk about the word text. So, the part of speech for text is noun, which means it refers to a thing or an idea. In common usage, you can use text to refer to the written content of a message. Whether it's on your phone, a computer, or even a handwritten note, you might say something like, "I'm going to read the text of this message and then reply." It can also be used more broadly to talk about written works, like books or articles, as in, the author wrote a bestseller with just one sentence as the text. One special thing to keep in mind is that text can sometimes get confused with other words that have similar meanings, like message, content, or even chat. So, be careful when using it and make sure you're not accidentally implying that someone sent you a message instead of just referring to the written part. Let's take a look at 3 different examples of how to use the word text in various contexts. In a formal setting such as a job interview, someone might say, "I will text my supervisor to confirm that I can attend the meeting tomorrow." Here the speaker is using texting as a means of communication to convey important information. In contrast, during a casual conversation with friends over lunch, you might hear someone say, "OMG, I just got the craziest text from my ex-boyfriend this morning." In this context, the word text is being used to refer to a specific message received via phone, often conveying emotions or reactions. Lastly, in an academic or business context, someone might say, "The new marketing strategy involves texting customers to remind them of upcoming sales events." Here, the use of texting as a medium is being referred to as a broader concept, highlighting its potential for customer engagement and retention. So you want to know what I'm talking about? Well, imagine having a way to communicate with others using words on a small device, like your phone or computer. This way of communicating typically involves writing short messages, often between friends or family members who are in close proximity to each other. And it's usually done for casual conversations, not for official business matters. It's similar to talking, but instead of speaking out loud, you type what you want to say using a keyboard or touchscreen, and the recipient can respond in kind. You might use this method to quickly share thoughts or ideas with someone, or even just to joke around with friends. It's a pretty common way for people to chat with each other these days. Tradition, tradition, tradition. So, let's talk about the word tradition. As a noun, it refers to an established custom, practice, or way of doing things that has been passed down from previous generations. In common usage, people often use tradition to describe cultural practices, such as celebrating holidays or festivals in a certain way, following specific rituals, or adhering to traditional dress or customs. For example, Christmas is a time for family and tradition, or the annual Thanksgiving feast is a cherished tradition. What's interesting about tradition is that it can also be used to describe negative practices or outdated customs that people might want to change. As in, the new management has broken with the tradition of giving raises on Christmas Day, or, some people think it's time to end the tradition of using single-use plastics. Overall, tradition is a word that conveys a sense of continuity and shared identity, but can also be used to highlight the need for change and progress. In Japan, it's a tradition for families to visit their elderly relatives on New Year's Day. Kyoto hosts a beautiful traditional festival every autumn where food stalls and games fill the streets, and at our company, We're proud to uphold the tradition of providing exceptional customer service to each and every client. So, you know how people in different countries and cultures often have certain customs, practices, or ways of doing things that have been passed down from their ancestors? Well, those habits and routines are really important to many communities, and they help shape who they are as a group. Mainly, these cultural norms or habits are usually done for specific reasons, like celebrating special occasions, honoring memories, or showing respect for certain values. People often follow them because it's just how things have been done in their community for a long time, and it brings them closer together. It's kind of like having your own unique way of doing things that makes you feel connected to where you come from. Similar concepts might include customs, rituals, or ways of life, but this idea is more about the habits and routines themselves rather than just individual actions. In short, these cultural practices play a big role in defining who we are as individuals within our communities, and they help create a sense of belonging among group members. Transfer. 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 So, let's talk about the word transfer. The part of speech for this word is a verb, which means it's used to describe an action or a state of being. Common usage of transfer includes moving something from one place or person to another, like transferring money from your bank account to someone else's, or transferring a file from one computer to another. It can also mean changing a job or responsibility, as in, I'm transferring to a new department. One special note about the usage of this word is that it often implies a physical movement or a change in possession. So you might hear people say, I'm transferring my ticket to tomorrow, if they need to move their airline ticket to another day. Overall, transfer is a useful word to know when discussing logistics, work changes, or even just everyday tasks. In a formal setting, you might say, the university has announced that it will be transferring its entire library collection to a new state-of-the-art facility downtown starting next semester. This sentence is useful for conveying official news and changes in an institution. In casual conversation, someone might say, "Dude, I just got my phone's SIM card transferred to a new provider so now I can get better reception at the festival this weekend." Here, the word transfer implies switching from one company to another, highlighting the benefits of a change. In business or academic contexts, you could use the sentence, "The research team has successfully transferred the DNA sequence of the newly discovered species into a test tube for further study." In this case, the word transfer refers to moving a molecule or data from one location to another, often with the goal of analysis or experimentation. Hey there, let me explain something that's really useful for language learners. So, when you're studying a new language and want to get your money, skills, or experience from one country to another, we have a special concept that makes this process easier. It's called moving funds, credentials, or qualifications from one place to another without having to physically take them with you. This way, you can keep everything organized and ready to go. So when it's time to move abroad, you just need to access your new life in the destination country. It's like having a digital suitcase that follows you everywhere. Isn't that convenient?